Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are set to file for a divorce after weeks of split rumors.
They're not speaking.
Ben was even a no-show at Jennifer's Bridgerton-themed party for her 55th birthday.
JLO is furious at him, and he doesn't want to embarrass her.
Jennifer Lopez is pleading to Ben Affleck to hold off on divorce. After having a tough year, she can't handle anymore. But Ben is done with her. He doesn't want to speak to her, and he's even moved on and bought his own dream home. Now, JLO is trying to escape the embarrassment that this failed romance has caused her. So let's get into it. This headline reads, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are moving on separately, which it seems about right. I mean, I could have seen that coming, and I don't even have my contacts in right now. She hasn't seen Ben for weeks, so it looks like Ben's probably having, his peaceful era, finally getting a break from JLO and her chaos. I do like JLO's work and her music, and maybe I'm not the biggest fan of her as a person, but I do feel bad that their relationship is ending. Remember, they dated decades ago, and they almost got married, and they didn't, and for them to come back together, it seemed like a love story, but this love story wasn't gonna last. Looks like JLO hasn't seen Ben for weeks. A source tells People she's been spending time in New York City and the Hamptons, where she held a large birthday bash with friends and family, but no Ben. I think one of the reasons why JLO is staying in New York is because she doesn't want to face reality. She doesn't want to go back to Hollywood and see all these people who have trashed her recently. She also doesn't really have anywhere to go. She's trying to sell this mansion, and I'm assuming that she's moved a bunch of stuff out, and they are just like having these millionaires come through and look at the property, trying to figure out if anyone can buy it. I mean, in this economy, I can't imagine.
Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are set to file for a divorce after weeks of split rumors. Sadly, the pair won't be getting one of JLO's rom-com fairy tale endings, as they are reportedly said to be pushing ahead with a divorce after a final attempt at reconciliation failed. The pair have not been seen together for weeks, and Ben was even a no-show at Jennifer's Bridgerton-themed party for her 55th birthday.
Ben has lucked out, and he's been able to find a new home to move into, and it looks like it's close by his kids. Ben wanted to be closer to his kids with his new home and want a new, fresh, personal space where he can focus on work and be in his most creative zone without any outside distractions, which JLO was an entire distraction herself. She constantly wanted publicity, new stories out about herself, and she made a documentary and a movie and an entire album about their relationship. So that's a huge distraction. So many people commenting on your relationship and your personal lives. Despite Ben being able to move on into his new property, it's been difficult. This source continues, it's been a hard time for Ben, but he's continuing to make his well-being and his family a priority, which is a good sign for Ben because he struggles with addiction, and this kind of messy situation could really affect someone who's struggling with addiction. I mean, it's difficult. There's so much public pressure. I'm sure JLO isn't the nicest to deal with. I mean, we heard reports that she wanted a big chunk of his money, even though she's got plenty of her own. We all know that JLO is the type to seek revenge. Just to remind you guys, signs that their marriage was in a bad place became evident in May when sources said that JLO and Ben were living under separate roofs. Now this summer they put on a united front at graduation gatherings and other family milestones, but later embarked on separate summer plans. They celebrated their 2-year wedding anniversary apart, so that's a red flag. And it's not like JLO can use the excuse that she's working, or Ben can use that excuse. I mean, he's trying to work, but JLO, her tour flopped, everything flopped, so she's taking a long break away from her man. This headline reads, Why Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are waiting to announce their split. Amid persistent divorce rumors, a source tells ET that the couple is waiting to ensure a seamless split. This is so Hollywood to plan the launch of their divorce. It's a launch party. They're waiting to announce their official split because they want to make sure everything is seamless. Probably because they don't want a big fiasco of this battle, this divorce battle over money. It started to seem like it was headed that direction. Neither of them want this process to be rushed. They are treating the separation with as much grace, understanding, and gentleness as they can, as they're sending sources to go and spill the tea in the media. It also seems interesting that they're taking their time with this. I mean, these two were married for 2 years. There's not a lot to really go through as far as assets. I mean, they bought that house together, but I would assume they would sell it and then split the profit. I can't imagine this being a long divorce unless it's bitter. Doesn't really sound too gentle to me. The source continued, the timing of the transition made her birthday a bit more difficult, but with the support of her friends and family, she's doing her best day by day. And honestly, it seemed like she was having fun at her birthday party, and why shouldn't she? This marriage is over with. I don't think either of them should sit here in misery. I mean, it's like advice you'd give any friend in a breakup. I mean, of course, you're going to have that grieving period. You're going to have like that loss and remorse, but you also need to move on with your life. And that gets easier with time, but also it's easier said than done. Luckily, they had those 2 years together. It's only been a couple of years. So hopefully they can move on a little bit easier. I mean, it seems like JLo's living her best life. Although JLo does seem happy, it's hard to believe. She wrote an album, I'm sure with the help of other people, but an album about their relationship, made a movie that he featured in, made a documentary that he was featured in, and then months later, they're divorced, and it did really badly. Like, it flopped, it lost a lot of money. This person commented, "That's so sad though, I can't imagine." Another person wrote, "She'll have another man in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jen does not play. She doesn't look bothered either." Another person writes, "That's actually really sad." This person writes, "Ben Affleck realized that he had the courage to say that he deserves better. I can only imagine the work of what it would take to be with JLo. Even if she was the last woman on earth, I'd rather die alone." But they do have a lot of kids between them, so it seems like they're trying to make this easy for the kids because the kids do have like shared custody. So, Ben is involved in their lives. JLo was, I'm assuming, partially. Quote, "They don't want to make it feel like they're pulling the rug from underneath their children. They're making a mutual effort to ensure that this transition is as healthy and easy as possible."
Lopez mentioned that both she and Affleck are at a stage in their lives where they are focusing on their careers and their existing families rather than expanding their family further. Ben Affleck recently made headlines with his bold new look, a shaved faux hawk hairstyle. The Oscar-winning actor and director was spotted riding his motorcycle through the streets of Los Angeles, showcasing his edgy new style. The faux hawk, with its distinctive shaved sides and a strip of longer hair down the middle, added a fresh and daring twist to Affleck's usual appearance.
Not the faux hawk look. I mean, that screams crisis. Now, this sounds bad. JLo is furious and humiliated amid the Ben Affleck split as he holds back on filing for divorce to protect her. As we've been saying, JLo has decided to delay her divorce proceedings, driven by feelings of humiliation and anger towards Ben. The delay seems to be a strategic move to shield herself from additional public embarrassment as the couple split continues to make headlines. A source close to JLo suggested that she's very upset at the turn of events, particularly as Ben was the one who initiated the renewed relationship. Not JLo scrolling all the way back in her text messages to go and just find reasons to blame him for the end of their relationship. JLo's source says that he's humiliated her because she's made a big deal that he's the love of her life. They just had 2 weddings 2 years ago. This is some kind of record. They're not young kids, which that does sound bad. I mean, if JLo moves on, it's going to be like, "Oh, isn't Ben the love of your life?" I mean, after the way that this went down, there's no way that she could love him. Now, this is a valid point that potentially Ben is holding off this divorce, to help JLo because she's already really dug herself a really deep hole. And do we really want to bury her with a divorce right now? Maybe give her a break?
Well, at least we now know why Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck haven't filed for divorce yet. It's because they're not speaking. He doesn't want to embarrass her by forcing her to go through another failed romance. Interesting. Romantic or delusional? Perhaps a bit of both. So protective that he snuck into their house to take all his shit while she was on vacation, while also not speaking to her? Insiders told TMZ that the singer and the actor have not hired divorce lawyers and instead have their business managers hashing out the details of the divorce. Well, they might want to hire some. Because all of this is what's embarrassing.
Maybe Ben thinks he's being courteous by like going in and taking his stuff and leaving, but I'm sure JLo would be upset by that. And I actually think it's a little bit strategic on Ben's side. You know, he's trying to get in there and get out before she's around. It looks like they haven't hired divorce lawyers yet. Instead, they're having their business managers hash out the details, which is very Hollywood, but actually makes a lot of sense. A lot of these people, they don't have control over their money, the money coming in. And when I mean that, I don't mean they don't have control over it. They hire these wealth firms. There's a lot of them in LA, and they control every aspect of your life. They pay your bills, your mortgage, your health care. They control your car. They control everything. It is insane, and they get this power of attorney, and they can really do anything on your behalf. And hopefully you have someone good, but if you don't, you could be screwed over. Nonetheless, I think that they're probably okay. I mean, I think maybe JLo would be a TriStar, which is a bad sign, but I don't know if she's still with them. That's the firm that put Britney Spears in the conservatorship. The firm that was also raided because they handled Diddy's money, and Justin Bieber fired them because he didn't want to be involved with their sketchy business. So maybe the divorce isn't legal yet, but they've moved on. I mean, Ben was spotted without his wedding ring on, and we saw JLo also out on vacation, confronted by paparazzi, and she wasn't wearing her jewelry either.
Get away from me.
It's him.
Go away.
It's him.
Go away.
It's him.
JLo looks so intense here. I would be so stressed out just to be in this environment. Like, I don't like the paparazzi. I don't think it's fair, but doesn't she look so tense? Like, it's giving Karen. Very much Karen. Either way, I'm wishing the best for them both because it's difficult to go through a divorce, and it's difficult for the kids and all of this attention. So we're sending good vibes their way, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any other video ideas for me, here's my email, SloanWellKnown@gmail.com, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.